The next quote-unquote big Marvel thing is out. A trailer for Thunderbolts landing with a thud. Audiences apparently not impressed. Muddy, ruddy, and dark. Almost impossible to see. Will people be going to see Thunderbolts? Or does it portend, perhaps, a terrible 2025 on the way to set Marvel way, way down into a slide of despair? Hello folks, welcome back to the Pro Channel. We are changing hearts and minds simply by telling the truth with a capital T, dragging Hollywood back to the mainstream middle, the sensible center, where money can be made. Thunderbolts is not looking like a surefire hit for Disney. Could be, might be an unexpected win. A diamond in the rough, perhaps? We'll find out, but the trailer is no doubt giving people some serious questions as to whether or not Marvel has lost their touch. Sure, Deadpool and Wolverine was a big, big hit, but also basically was not done by anybody in Marvel proper. It was an outside job. Ryan Reynolds coming in with his team and basically doing whatever they wanted. Now it's back to what we've been getting over the past few years, and it's boring people to tears. Today we'll show you the trailer and talk about what might be at the bottom of the rot at Marvel. Folks, take a look at this, and Paul, you're going to be on the hook for carrying us through this one. Good luck. Thunderbolts trailer. Florence Pugh and Sebastian Stan among cast for Marvel action pick. This is out of Deadline. Dead is appropriate for this one. Here's what the article says, and we'll watch the trailer together. It says, here's your first trailer for Marvel's Thunderbolts, which is opening in theaters May 2nd, 2025. Pick is directed by Jake Schreier. Stars Florence Pugh, Geraldine Viswanathan, I guess. Anyway. The movie revolves around a group of villains who are sent on missions commissioned by the government. Kevin Feige producing, Luis de Esposito, Brian Chapek, Jason Tamez, Scarlett Johansson serving as executive producers. Check out the trailer above. All right. I'm just going to say before we watch the trailer, this has not been well received. I think that's fair to say. And I think that my estimation of how much Marvel was in trouble coming out of Deadpool and Wolverine, where I said, okay, they've got to get through this next year and a half. But if they can get through it, they now know how they can win with the formula that Deadpool and Wolverine put forth. I'm getting more concerned about Marvel because Agatha is worse than I anticipated. And it's worse in a big way. It's worse than the Acolyte.
It's not really worse than Secret Invasion.
Oh, no. Secret Invasion is awful. Yeah. Truly awful.
I think whenever we talk about something being bad, we have to take Secret Invasion out of the running because that's like a whole other category of bad.
But the argument for that also is that you take the lowest score and the highest score out of the mix, and so that you find your mean there.
What's the highest score on this one, Culture?
For television products, for Disney Plus, or for Marvel specifically.
I would say for Marvel, it's probably WandaVision.
Yeah, it's WandaVision. Yeah. Well, for television products, yes.
I'm going to hold my complete assessment of Agatha until the third show because I've seen the first two, and it kind of makes sense. Although there's parts of it that they could have chucked, but it's the third part where is this a puzzle per episode show? I don't know what this show is yet. I'm waiting for episode 3 to
here's an indicator. Here's the red flag. Almost every streaming show that Disney Plus has put out for Marvel, they release some sort of braggadocious statistics for viewership that are dubious at best and later often clarified in a negative way by Nielsen. They're not even doing that with Agatha. We still don't have Disney's typical, hurrah, here's what we did with our viewership. There's no statement whatsoever. Agatha's in real trouble. And Paul, to come back to the Secret Invasion side of things that you mentioned, I just wasn't expecting that we might have a year and a half of Secret Invasion after Secret Invasion after Secret Invasion before we can ever get to an Avengers movie. This is going to be rough.
Yeah. I mean, there could be a whole conversation on how streaming somehow has no personality, and that's a problem in of itself. I mean, again, who because there's not a time slot, you're not doing any kind of counter programming against NFL football on CBS, so ABC will put out a chick show, right? I mean, nothing makes sense now. It made way more sense in the network days where you could go, well, this show isn't very good, but this is attracting a different audience from, the Love Boat is over there. Okay, we know who people love Aaron Spelling, so we're going to do an adventure guy show here. So, that kind of simple metrics are
well, in a way, they're counter-programming the previous 10 years instead of counter-programming what is popular now. I think they're counter-programming what is popular now, but they're going off of what people liked and then doing the opposite. They have 2 shows in a row that are lesbian superpowered witches that sing. And it's again going back to the society doesn't like women like us has been a line within the first 2 episodes of each of these shows.
Well,
you guys remember one second, Paul. You guys remember the Family Guy episode, or not the Family Guy, the South Park episode where the manatees were picking the topics for Family Guy?
Yes.
How did we arrive in a world where the manatees pulled up superpowered singing lesbian witches for 2 back-to-back shows with Disney? So bizarre.
They put in a lot more singing lesbian and witch balls because that's what somebody wants to happen in the manatee pool. I
think the problem is that they have one of the fridges in the lunchroom with the magnetic word puzzles, where someone every once in a while just puts words together, and then people can see aphorisms and phrases that someone has come up with, and someone must have put in, witches singing.
Somebody accidentally glued the singing lesbian witches.
Witches.
I mean,
and they can't get the scraper in there to get it off.
Speaking of South Park, I think you have an underpants gnome situation where somebody's like singing lesbian witches something and then profit, and they're just trying to figure it out.
Well, here's another way you can lose some big money if you're Disney. Put out a movie that's based on characters. It's a spinoff, essentially, of Black Widow, which did not, by the way, if you remember, do so well. But years later, let's bring those characters back. Here's the trailer, and then we'll weigh in on our thoughts on it.
Yep.
Here we go.
Let's do it.
I click leave on porch. Your subordinates will be reported to DoorDash HQ.
Alexi, it's me. Open up.
I am slovenly white male.
Hold on! Elena!
Hi, Dad.
Sorry about the wait. It was an important call. Highly classified. Lot of work. Many irons in fire.
You feel fulfilled?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so full. So filled. But why do you ask this? What brings you here?
There is something wrong with me. An emptiness. I'm just drifting. And I don't have purpose. I thought throwing myself into work was the answer.
Yahoo Tiny Girl.
Black Widow 2.
Yeah.
When your feet on the air, your head on the ground.
Are we worried about the music on this one?
Who
I don't know at this point.
are you?
I'm Bob.
Who sent you, Bob?
Nobody. You were all sent?
Brian Michael Bendis sent me.
Everyone here has done bad things. Shadow ops. Robbing government labs. Contract kills.
I hate this so much.
So, someone wants us gone. What the hell?
All right, good enough. Here's what I think on this one. It's yet another Disney movie, another Disney trailer that you basically can't see what's happening because it's all so muddy and dark.
Mhm.
It's Black Widow 2, not starring Black Widow. That's going to go well. If ScarJo couldn't win, I guarantee you this motley crew cannot win. And oh, by the way, this is going to be Disney's redemption after Snow White in March. They get this in May. You talk about an Oy vey 2025.
There's a
Good
Bucky in it.
Lord.
Yeah, my question to you guys is who's going to be the bigger punching bag in this movie? Red Guardian or John Walker? Who's going to be like the white man that's going to be the punching bag and the punchline for the entire thing? Or is it just going to be both of them? They're both going to be pathetic.
Bucky Barnes.
Well, I think, okay, so first of all, Red Guardian's character is made to be the punching bag. That's the whole point of the character. He's supposed to be funny, sad, pathetic, as opposed to John Walker's, demoralized, sad, pathetic. He was already the punching bag of an entire series with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He was supposed to be the symbol of America that everyone was allowed to admit that they hated in that one. This trailer is so all over the place as far as tone goes. Like you said, it's washed out, but in the middle of all of that, we have a gag where Bucky's arm is coming out of a dishwasher, which I feel that is in tonal dissonance. Sorry. David Harbour's, if that's his name, Red Guardian. I actually like that character. I think that they probably need a more comedic writer to come in there and really punch up what he's doing. But I actually see potential in that character. It's just that everything he's in is so lame and dour. There is potential here, but I don't see them doing well with it. We're also the half-life on all of these older songs that we all used to be aware of, that they bring them in and play them slower on trailers. We're only getting at about 8 years here. That 21 Pilot song only came out in 2015. I don't think this is working. And I got one more thing I'll say. Bucky is apparently a villain for the first part of this because he comes in and does the Winter Soldier thing. He does it to Nick Fury in Winter Soldier. But he shoots the device underneath the car and flips the car. And this time they're doing it to comedic effect on some level with Red Guardian's character, where he was supposed to kind of be terrifying in Winter Soldier. I just feel like they're degrading all of these characters as they go on here. And maybe they're going for a Guardians vibe, as in Guardians of the Galaxy vibe. Maybe they're going for a Suicide Squad vibe here, but they're missing on all of those fronts.
This movie is made to put over one character and one character only, and that is Widow LaPue.
Paul, speaking of LePew, what do you do in 2025 if you're Marvel to try to survive until 26? How do you keep any hype alive?
Well, I think I mentioned it in last night's show, is that you go Stan Lee and you just go back to your OG characters and you run them to death. So I don't get it.
Nothing new is working, is it?
Well, yeah, it's
why is the new not working, Paul? Why is the new not working for them?
Okay, part of it, I think. How do I say this? It's not that sub characters can't be grown in other environments. I'll put it to you that Iron Man was never the number one character in Marvel. It was the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man. Iron Man kind of languished. I mean, I read Iron Man. He was never top of the pops. But in the movie domain, he worked really, really well because, and I've used the term before, he was the perfect epitome of gear porn. And guys just went nuts over the first movie as he assembled two different Iron Man outfits, and the movie embodied everything that probably the comics, could have had, but it worked really, really well in the live environment. And also Robert Downey Jr. was fabulous. So, and great script, great everything. I mean, it was a really, really good introduction. Even Nightcrawler, which was never a great X-Men character, was just absolutely brilliant in the hands of Cummings. I would have loved to have seen more Nightcrawler. So movies do have the ability to take sub characters. So I don't want to go too far and say, oh, why are they taking these unknown characters and trying to make something of them? It can be done to really good effect. But in the case of Marvel, the fact that they abandoned their OG characters so quickly after the final movie of the Avengers, it just didn't make any kind of financial sense. From T'Challa, Black Panther, all of these, like why they buried him and killed, like it was the stupidest idea in the world. So you just recast your main characters and just keep on going until the population is sick of them. That's the way you make money.
Write it out. We've got about 6 months before this film lands at the box office, maybe a little bit more. But I think we've got the tonal idea of what's happening here.
Yeah.
Culture, what do you think we're going to get in terms of total box office for this? If you had to make a guess right now how it's going to perform, what do you
That's
think?
not fair.
Wow. Okay. Well, unfair or not, I think about 650 million tops, more likely. And that's just based on Marvel's reputation rebuild after Deadpool and Wolverine. But there's an interim film here that could actually drastically affect that. So I would say somewhere between 350 and 485 million, depending upon...
Wait, Culture. Tell the audience what that film is.
Whatever they're calling Falcon Cap now. I think it's, what is that called? Some kind
Brave
of...
New World.
Brave New World.
So we get Brave New World,
Yeah.
Snow White, Thunderbolts. That's February, March, May for Disney.
Yeah, it's going to be brutal slog. I mean, the only thing that has a rescue on television would be the Daredevil product. See, the worst case scenario is what we're going to get with Ironheart, which is just going to level everybody's expectations for Marvel in the future. I mean, I can go through a list of this could be terrible. This could be terrible. I think the last gasp was the Fox honorarium there, the memorial service that was called Deadpool and Wolverine. And
I think 600 million is the ceiling on this.
600? 600? Yeah. You went higher
than
650.
Me. No, you said 650.
Well, right. Is it getting a China release? That's the question.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, I mean, it's got an awful lot of modern audience in it, so China's not so hip on that.
I can see China passing on this.
They'll release something completely stripped of all of that and rename it.
Well,
shrink the sizes of the people on the poster.
That's half the action scenes then. But okay.
Jack Straw also pointed out the song. I got it wrong. It's actually the Pixies. It is. I listened to it a little bit. It's "Where Is My Mind" by the Pixies. But in my defense, whoever cut this trailer together, they will put more work into merging two songs. At the end, they used the lyrics from 21 Pilots, "Stressed Out." So when I looked it up by the lyrics, it was 21 Pilots that came up. So great call, Jack Straw.
And folks, we've come to the end yet again. Another video of excellence in the can. Watch it again and again if you'd like. Folks, this is the kind of place where we just enjoy having you return, of course, and we hope that we add value to your day. If that's the case, consider clicking the like button and send this out across the YouTube airwaves. Share, subscribe, click it, and stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment right on down below. Let us know your thoughts about Thunderbolts. Maybe we have it all wrong. Maybe it's a really, really exciting property for you, and you can't wait. Whatever the case might be, let us know. Folks, until the next time we have the honor of spending time with you, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.